Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and I'm on the side of 77 and just taking the exit in between Bluefield and Princeton, and this is 12 Mile Road. So I thought I would just do a little video of 12 Mile Road. A lot of people have never driven this road before, and it comes out in Princeton on Route 460, and there's lots of little roads that cut off to the left and the right, so we'll be talking about a little bit of that as we drive. But you've seen the cool train trestle right there as we passed by it. There are basically just houses out through here. There are roads that cut off to the right, and if you would just, if you stopped right here and walked across the mountain to the left, that would take you to the Mount Horeb Road, where there are many cemeteries and different things to talk about. But there is one little cemetery right off the road up here, and you would have to go basically to the top of that mountain. And it's called the Cassidy Cemetery. Up the road a little bit further is the Oni Cemetery and the Scott Cemetery. Now, all three of these cemeteries, I do not have any information. I have looked through Mercer County Historical Society books and different things, and I cannot come up with anything on these little cemeteries. But the Oni Cemetery, there is also an Oni Road, Oni Farm Road that cuts off to the right. So I feel like the people back a long time ago the last name Oni lived in this area too. Now, the Scott Cemetery. The Scotts were early, actually early settlers into Mercer County. A good majority of them settled in the Athens area, but there was a few that settled down into the Princeton area. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the Scotts in this episode, since I really don't have much else to talk about, and I don't have any information on the cemeteries or anything. So enjoy just this drive of the 12 Mile Road, which coincidentally is not really 12 miles long. It only takes me about 7 minutes to drive this road, and that is definitely not 12 miles in length. So I'm going to talk about the Scotts and just enjoy looking out, checking out this road. So Francis and Elizabeth Scott and their children moved from Giles County to a farm about 3 or 4 miles northwest of the present town of Athens. So I'm sure that these Scotts that I'm talking about are related somewhere down the line to the Scotts buried in the cemetery down here on this road that we're on. But there's also a Scott family cemetery located north of Athens also. But when they did this move, it was in the early 1840s. So Francis Scott was the oldest child of Samuel Scott, who served in the Revolutionary War, taking oath of allegiance to the Commonwealth of Virginia on October 10th, 1777. He served a tour of duty as a volunteer under Captain Joseph Cloyd at the fort on the New River at Culbertson's Bottom against the Indians in 1774. So Samuel was in service until 1781, and during those military service years, he marched to North Carolina, to the Atkins River, Morventown, North Carolina, the Bluestone, which at that time it was spelled Bluestone, Blewstone. He also marched to the Holston River, which, if you're from the area, you know that the Holston is at the far end of Virginia, far western part of Virginia, actually Tennessee. So he marched all over the area during the Revolutionary War period. But that was Francis Scott's dad, Samuel. Now, Francis Scott and his wife Elizabeth had a son named Samuel Scott, so they named him after the grandfather. And he was born in Giles County. There's also a Dicey Scott, a James Scott, Rebecca Scott, John Scott, Nancy Scott, Elsie Scott, Sarah Scott, and William Brown Scott, all from the same family that were basically one of the first people to reside in Mercer County. So I thought I would share a little bit of that information with you. There's Scots are a very, very popular name, a very common name for West Virginia. Known a few people myself. In fact, I had a teacher in elementary school with the last name Scott. So I'm sure there was some correlation to that with being some of the founding people of Mercer County. I wish I had found a little bit more information on the Onis. They have the cemetery here and the road named after him that cut off to the right, but I do not have any information on them. But I feel like there's a story there, so I'll keep looking into that and see if I can find something and maybe talk about it at a later date. Now, we're still traveling on this 12-mile road, and like I said, it will come out on Route 460. But there's a road over here on the right. It's called Ambrose Road. Ambrose also comes out on 460, and if you're familiar with Princeton, Ambrose is, there closer to Interstate 77 where it comes out at, but that's where a lot of the restaurants are, like the Applebee's. There's a hotel there and different things. So that's Ambrose Road, and it actually links up here to this 12-mile road. Just right up here, there's a road that cuts to the right, and that's Ambrose Road. There is, sometime in the future I will drive down that road, but there is a family cemetery on Ambrose Road, and it's called the Stinson Family Cemetery. I just thought I would mention it since I'm in the area. So we are getting close to the end of the video. Just right up here, you can actually see it now, as where the road ends and joins Route 460, which I'll be jumping on. I will have more videos of Princeton and maybe a couple more of Bluefield coming up for the rest of the month of November and the first part of December. I have some videos of Cheesy Creek down towards Oakville, a lot of different little places and some roads that many of you maybe have never been on before. So this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments for your next travel adventure, and give me a yell if there's a place you'd like to see in Mercer County. I like to dig into the history. Talk to you later.